As soon as the camera starts rolling, Robin Williams is switched on. He can't help but break into a rapid fire of hilarious character voices going off on all kinds of outrageous tangents. It's all just part of his comic brilliance. Take it away, Robin.
Rolling. Thank you, people. Thanks to our DJ, our lines are open. We're here with people from Australia. Good day and welcome. Thanks. Rolling. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Robin is hands down one of the greatest impromptu comedians of all time, with an incredibly fast-paced wit. It's hard to believe that as a child, Robin was quiet and shy. Overweight, he had few friends and started learning different voices to entertain himself. He found his calling when he discovered drama at high school, where ironically he was also voted most likely not to succeed. I'd love to see what his schoolmates have to say now. He went on to study at the prestigious Juilliard School of Performing Arts, and in 1973 only 2 students were accepted into the school's advanced program, Robin and Christopher Reeve. The pair developed a close, lifelong friendship. In fact, after Christopher's tragic accident, it was Robin who showed up at his bedside pretending to be a crazy Russian doctor wanting to perform a colonoscopy. When Robin finally removed his surgeon's mask, Christopher laughed for the first time since his accident. From stage to TV, Robin went from stand-up routines on the comedy club circuit to landing a guest role on Happy Days as the alien Mork. With his high nasal voice and physical comedy, his character made such an impact that it led to his own spin-off TV sitcom, Mork and Mindy, which was a hit running from 1978 to 82, making Robin an overnight sensation. He often ignored the script and had lived so well that the producers gave up trying to make him stick to it and deliberately left big gaps where he could get creative and improvise. Mesmerising to watch, creative and quick on his feet, this masterful skill has meant Robin is admired as one of the all-time greats when it comes to improvisation. In fact, in his breakout role as Adrian Cronauer in 1987's Good Morning Vietnam, he actually ad-libbed all the radio broadcasts. How clever is that? And in Licensed to Wed, he was at it again.
Did you stick to the script or were you able to?
I stick to it most of the time and sometimes go off. We had times when you could play, riff. It's an old jazz word. I riffed. But they were comfortable with it because we had people who could riff back.
We know he plays the funny guy brilliantly for the camera, but what is the real Robin Williams like?
At home, am I always on? No. Am I sometimes on for the kids? Yeah. Am I an asshole at home? Occasionally, because I'm a human being. Occasionally, early in the morning, I'm not the funniest person, Wake up! Get away! Daddy's not getting up today!
Robin has been married twice. First back in 1978 to Valerie Velardis, but after his alleged affair with a cocktail waitress broke, they divorced. He later married their son's nanny, Marsha Garces, in 1989. Then in 2008, 19 years and 2 children later, they divorced, Robin saying he will never marry again. Yet despite the ups and downs, his family is extremely important and central to his life.
You try and bring them along on everything possible. And it's hard because it's a little bit like, a small rock and roll show. You end up feeling like a roadie. Where's the crib go, ma'am? So you have to set up, a lifestyle that you bring as, everyone along, because without them you feel lost.
Like many comedians, his colourful past reveals a darker side. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, Robin had a serious cocaine habit. Always the joker, he said, cocaine is God's way of telling you that you are making too much money. Robin has said the death of his close friend and frequent party pal John Belushi, along with the birth of his son in 1983, both acted as a wake-up call, prompting him to quit. But he fell off the rails again in 2006, and after 20 years of sobriety, this time he checked himself into rehab for alcoholism. This clearly took a toll on his marriage. All that said, it certainly hasn't stopped Robin's professional success, with an Oscar and 3 nominations under his belt.
I was 3 times there and lost 3 times, which is always wonderful. Because, they always keep the camera on the people who lose just to get a reaction, and you're supposed to go, I'm so happy for you, when in reality you're going.
But even though he left the Academy Awards empty-handed after his first 3 nominations, for 87's Good Morning Vietnam, 89's Dead Poets Society, and 91's The Fisher King, he still felt a sense of having made it.
You know what it is about that that's wonderful? Two things. It's like in some ways like making the Olympics. When you make it that far, you know you're in a certain class. It's like, oh, it's wonderful. To be in a room with people like, you know, the ball will be there. I mean, Jack's always fun to see. And, you know, Dustin and all these different people. And the fact I know them by their first name. Right. But, you know, the idea to be in that company is quite wonderful.
But his Oscar-nominated roles aren't his only memorable ones. His films are extensive and diverse. Think comedies like The Birdcage and one of my favourites, Mrs. Doubtfire, to some of his dramatic roles in films like Awakenings and What Dreams May Come. So which of his films are his personal favourites?
Yeah, Dead Poets, Awakenings, Fisher King, Aladdin. Yeah, a lot of them. Oh, and The Birdcage, just because it's fun to be an older gay man.
And are there any of his films that he feels were Oscar-worthy but missed out?
I think for Doubtfire, I thought maybe, but I also knew because it was a comedy that, you know, they tend to ignore comedies. You know, even though that, like, you know, years later, it's like Chaplin and Keaton, you know, and Peter Sellers. Right. You know, he was nominated, which was great, but, you know, sometimes they think of comedy as being, oh, that's that little silly thing you do. Go do that someplace else. Go play with yourself in a corner.
It has been voted one of the funniest movies of all time. That scene where his rubber breasts catch a light is absolute comedy gold. And his own gold statue did come in 1998 when he won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for playing a psychologist in Good Will Hunting. And while awards are great for the ego, what is it that really inspires Robin to act?
When I see a movie like Flubber with my children and they're laughing, or when I see a movie like Good Will Hunting and people are deeply affected by it, you know, not just that, you know, sometimes that they're crying, but also just that the fact that it touches people, I mean, it means just as much. It's a great honor to, you know, laughter, crying, any one of those emotions apply in the area of you've reached somebody.
And despite his superstardom, Robin's quick to admit he's lucky to work with the best in the biz and learns a lot from his fellow actors.
It was easy when you're watching someone like Robert De Niro because you were just watching and learning. The amazing thing in the last few films is to learn from people, to work with like Robert De Niro, to work with Jeff Bridges, to work with Dustin Hoffman, to watch these people. And you sit back and you say, hey, I haven't got any of the clues yet. I'm just learning now. Oh, that's great. Oh.
While Robin is most famous for his comedic skills, he has a combination of fragility and warmth that has made him successful playing a number of complex and harrowing roles, which he admits takes an emotional toll.
You touch your own emotions. You touch, you know, to kind of, the hard part is in the thing you have to kind of put a firewall against is bleeding into your own life, or you come home, and you can't help it sometimes. I would come home and be, the children would be there, you start hugging them, they're going,
You're hurting me. I'm playing Nintendo, please.
So you'd have to kind of, you know, say, okay, let it go. Find a way of letting it go and just, and it helps because that way you're allowed, you can come back and do it again if you have to, but you have to find a way of just.
So of all the films he's done to date, which has he found the most challenging?
The one in What Dreams May Come, I think, was the toughest, hardest, physically, emotionally, everything. Just because literally how was work today? Hell. No, I meant it. I was in hell for like 3 weeks of, you know, acting in these scenes where, you know, there's midgets floating in the water and, you know, people, you know, lunch. And it was just bizarre. And by the end of that movie, I was just so drained in terms of having to deal with all the issues in it that I was just like, okay, thanks. It was brutal.
A film much more fun to make was 2009's Happy Feet. Robin put his diverse vocal talents to work for two very different characters, channeling the voice of Barry White for the spirit warrior penguin Lovelace, while going Latino style for the penguin Ramon.
1 out of every 10 penguins is gay. That's why they have dancing. Hello? That's right, 1 out of every 10. So in a population of several thousand penguins, there's a group of penguins going off. Where are you going? Just to the iceberg. Just to talk.
What are you doing? We swim together, dance together now. Birds of a feather flock together with a flipper and two.
He's just so shy, isn't he? Not to mention quick-witted, he never stops. Throughout his career, Robin has made a conscious effort to mix up the genres and styles of the projects he takes on. And when he started to be typecast in tearjerkers like Patch Adams and Bicentennial Man, he challenged himself to choose unconventional, contrasting roles, like playing a low-life kids' TV host in Death to Smoochie, an emotionally disturbed photo development technician in 1 Hour Photo, and a sociopathic writer in The Final Cut. A more recent film of Robin's which caused a stir was 2009's World's Greatest Dad. A twisted, dark comedy, it was criticised for going too far and being in bad taste. But Williams and director Bobcat Goldthwait were happy with how it was received by an extremely tough audience at its LA premiere.
A screening in Los Angeles, people are just quiet or
Yeah, there used to be the joke about, you know, Los Angeles audiences seeing comedy being an interesting concept.
Yeah. So I was really happy to sit in the theater and have people laughing. Yeah.
And let's face it, one of the highlights of the film, or I don't want to be harsh, but possibly one of the lowlights, is when Robin gets his gear off.
If they don't shave me for a nude scene, it becomes animal rights issues. Then they start to have an animal trainer going, nice take, good take. I mean, it's weird when they had these ladies once waxing me, 2 of them, and they finally went, do you mind if we take a break? I was like, I'm sorry. Oh, big time. It was almost like cotton picking. Nobody knows the chest hair I seen. But when people say, why do you want to do a nude scene? I guess because I can. I don't know. I'm not going to be in porn. There's no... Yeah. Yo. BigOlderMen.com. What are you? More than a bear. A walrus. Yeah.
After over 3 decades in showbiz, having starred in more than 70 films, Robin Williams was honoured at the Hollywood Film Festival with a Lifetime Achievement Award.
It's fun. I mean, they said, you want to know what? Okay, I'm still alive. A lifetime achievement, good. I'm still continent. I didn't have to put on the special pants. And it's nice to be among people that I admire, which is kind of cool.
Incredibly quick-witted, fast-talking and often controversial, while a comedian by trade, we are constantly surprised by Robin Williams' talents. And I truly believe that with such a broad theatrical range, there isn't a role that he couldn't master. Stay tuned to Star Picks for all of the movies you know and the actors you love. Broadcasting glorious high definition with 5.1 surround sound where available. For more of the best in entertainment news, check out your Movie Network channels. It's all together better, on screen and at mnc.tv.